Hello. Welcome to the Elder Braincast presents the Sea of Souls live stream D&D. Thanks for joining us for session 33. We're creeping up there, getting up into the 30s now. I think when we hit 50, we got to do something big for 50. But maybe by 50
Somebody's
we'll have
character
50
will die.
followers. Well, I mean,
That's a promise.
that's
clip,
not a
clip this now so that you can play it again on episode 50 and and we can say that I told you so.
I won't intentionally try. Let's just put it that way. The possibility is certainly there, but it won't be intentional. I'll just say that much. But yeah, thanks for joining us and hanging out with us. If you haven't done so yet, please do join our Discord. You can find the link at our link tree, which is up above there, the link there. That'll give you links to all of our socials. You can follow us on Twitch. You can find our VODs on YouTube. You can find our audio re-uploads of our stream on the Podbean. And you can find our Patreon, which is the best way to support us and to be able to have some awesome interaction in chat and have an impact on what happens in game. So please do check out all of that above, and yeah, come and hang out in the Discord, because Discord's fun. We get to chat nerdy stuff, and it's good times. Coming up later this month, March break, we are going to be doing a live stream monster creation for a monster march sort of thing. So you definitely don't want to miss that. You want to join us live so that you can actually participate in our monster creation. We're going to mash together something, something brand new, fresh, and then we're going to fight it, because that's fun. And if yeah, that was Mike's idea. So if it goes poorly, if all the characters die,
Hey,
it's okay. They won't actually die. Like it won't affect like in game.
not canon.
So it's okay if you die in that. Yeah, it won't be canon. But that'll be a good time. So please do keep that in mind and check that out. March break is, what is that, like the 16th or something?
Next Monday.
I was gonna say next week.
Yeah.
It is next week, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So the 14th. Sorry.
Every
Yes,
time
yeah,
it
14,
blinks, it casts power word kill.
There we go. Yeah. Time just like, yeah.
For some reason, it keeps
I'm-
targeting Dinar. It's so strange.
So strange. Yeah. But yeah, so next week, check that out and join us. It'll be good times. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else to throw at you. Am I missing anything?
Not that I can think of.
So. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's wanker, mateys.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way over the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way over the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way over the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Sea of Souls. After our 4 adventures, returned to Ebonport with Kamari, and lots of questions in mind as to who set the ambush, what exactly was going on. Had a night of reprieve at the birth. You found yourselves woken in the early morning after a much needed sleep by Thomas Connor, the harbor master, who informs you that the guards and seemingly most of the defensive forces of the port were simply gone. After some investigating, you found this to be true. You manage to free the kobold Kissick from his cell in the barracks, and it appears, at least from his account, that his mind is now free from runics. Hearing a scream of terror from the docks, you made your way through the gates to find your crew, newly hired, under assault from undead crawling out of the water. The barrier of magic and light that had been erected by the Ivory Spire seems to have been taken down. Absent now, as are the guards. And with the defenses gone, the Black Tide and the forces that inhabit the Sea of Souls waged an assault on the docks of Ebonport. When it became apparent that the ones that you had fought off were only a few of those that were still coming, more and more appearing in the water, making their way towards the docks, you found your best course of action was to flee. Get on board your ship and weigh anchor and move out of port to hopeful safety. Joining the fight was Cerena, the Elven assassin who seemed to be running the general shop in town. Along with Kissick and your crew, and Thomas Connor, the harbor master, on board, you sail out, leaving the darkened port behind you. Some of you feeling much more battered and weary, having taken a few hits from the ghoulish undead crawling out of the water. You're now faced with a decision of what to do next. And still many questions. But what exactly is going on with the Spire? Gentlemen, as the boat sails out into the darkened waters, the storm raging around you, steady, constant rain, kept going all through the night, still ever present, a little bit of a fog and mist, even as the sun begins to rise on the horizon, as it is morning, early morning. What do you do?
We have to stop leaving port like this.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 now, huh?
So this is the following day then.
This is
No,
this is
still
the
morning.
morning of you, like you've just left.
Yeah, we woke up.
Oh,
early
okay.
in the
So it's like right. Gotcha.
We're maybe an
Yeah.
hour or two after waking up from returning from the ruins.
So I guess probably first order of business then is to check in on the wounded. So Tark is going to go probably below deck and see how the injured crew members are going, like how they're faring after all that.
I'll probably go help them since I am the de facto healer.
Heading below deck, you find Rumrat in particularly dire straits. She took quite a bit of a beating, and actually all three of your hired crew, Kadana, Saltigren, and Rumrat, taking a few hits. But Rumrat definitely seems to be the worst for wear, and seems to be feeling some illness on top of the wounds that she suffered as well. Cerena is down there with them, just kind of sitting on a box, and just seems to be cleaning off one of her blades that's got some ichor and stuff on it. She normally pale, looks a little bit almost like a greenish tint. Seems to be feeling a little bit worse for wear as well. And as the two of you kind of head down, she just looks at you and gives nods and says, "Well, that was exciting, wasn't it?"
That's certainly one word for it. Looking over at Rumrat, would Torque be able to attempt any sort of like medicine check just to sort of like establish a triage on the situation?
I mean, do we think magical healing will do the trick?
I remember there being some sort of failed saving throw.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
that you are aware of, yes, not your character, but yes. If Torque want to give me a medicine check, I'd say Talon, you could give me a inner arcana or religion if you wanted to take a stab at whether or not magical healing would have any effect.
All right.
11.
I got a 24 for medicine.
24. Okay.
Wow.
As Talon, as you're not a cleric per se. You have healing magic, but it's not your forte. You're not entirely sure if it would be what the best course of action would be here. You have no reason to assume magical healing wouldn't work.
Fair enough. That's what I was kind of figuring, so I'm probably going to go ahead and do that.
Okay. Torque, as you take a good look at Rumrat, you notice that she kind of just allows you to do a bit of an inspection. She doesn't really seem to be able to resist the momentum, or she seems to be very weak. You do realize that she has a fever, and she seems to be kind of racked by chills as well. And you notice that, especially kind of underneath her clothing, there are some dark spots like boils that are starting to appear. And she definitely seems to be infected by something. And as you kind of take a look at the color of her skin that is changing, you look over at Cerena, and you can see similar signs starting to take hold of the assassin as well. And you can see some like cold sweat kind of down her brow as she just wipes it off and seems to be trying to pass it off as nothing.
Taking note of this, Torque will nod Talon over. You think this is something you can treat?
Well, I can certainly give it a try. There's not a soul alive who hasn't been improved even slightly by my good music.
I think we might have crickets on board. Should look into that once the rest of this has been looked after.
Just hold still. This is only going to hurt a lot. I'm going to prepare a cure wounds.
Okay.
Though your heart it be broken and life about an 11. No matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love.
Who are you targeting with this?
I'm gonna go with I think Rumrat, because you said that she was like very badly wounded.
Okay. So the healing does seem to take, and her injuries, you can see some of the more visible wounds do seal up, and she regains a little bit of her energy. It does not seem to have any effect on the fever, the boils, or the chills that she is suffering, however. Those still persist.
Well, hey, I'm not a cleric.
So my medicine check was just to identify that there was an illness. It doesn't tell me anything about the actual illness, right?
This is definitely a disease.
Check if there's a parasite in their chest.
Not something that you're familiar with, although you would harbor a guess that it definitely has something to do with the undead sunken corpses, and this is something that seems to be affecting them.
This is going to be one of those situations where we leave them alone in the night, and then they turn, and then come after us in our own ship.
I'd say with your 24 medicine that even though you're not able to identify what specifically the disease is, it's definitely not good. And unless treated, it's only going to get worse. You can already see like her even though her injuries are healed, Rumrat does not seem to be faring well. She kind of comes in and out of consciousness. Her fever is definitely spiking.
Failing anything else that he can do, Torque will rummage through his herbalism kit. And Talon, you'll see him take out just kind of like this sort of like rolled up strip of this like really thin, kind of like papery, like almost like beechwood bark. He'll measure out a couple inches of that and then just kind of like tear it coarsely and hand it to Rumrat and just go, chew on this. It will numb some of the pain until we can get you looked at by a real physician.
kind of like unconsciously, subconsciously, just kind of acknowledges and accepts it. And doesn't seem to improve at all, but
You know,
look over.
There have been many evenings when I've been in terrible agony.
I didn't deem those to be emergencies, considering most of them were self-inflicted.
I mean, pain is pain.
I am not going to use my resources to concoct hangover remedies, Tayland.
Look, all I'm saying is it would be a benefit to everyone.
Ignoring him, Torque will look over at at Salty and go, keep an eye on this one. We're not quite sure what any of this means, but if it worsens, it could spell trouble for us.
Are they, is Rumrat, like, awake?
It sounds like she's kind of in a fugue state.
At the moment now, like, her fever seems to have kind of claimed her, and she's definitely very, like, she's, like, semi-conscious. She's kind of in that.
Maybe Torque doesn't give her something to chew on then. Just take that away so it's not a choking hazard.
Do you feel heavy? Your eyes drop with grief. I'm going to cast sleep on them.
As you kind of give the instructions to Salty, he's like, I did see that she took quite a nasty stab from one of them rusty swords them drowned dead were carrying with them. I don't know if it has anything to do with what's ailing her right now, but
maybe we can get Dinar to do some magic-y checkity.
Do we have any fresh water on board?
Aye, when we loaded up all the provisions that were provided by the Spire, we've got there's lots of fresh water and food and rations for we got about a month's worth of good food and water. So
get Kisik to soak some rags, make a compress. We need to get that fever down.
I've heard giant horses have a bladder inside their body that holds fresh water.
Have Kisik make some compresses by soaking rags. We'll need to try and keep that temperature down, if nothing else.
I mean, she's not waking up anytime soon. You can be sure of that, at least.
Kalen.
Oh, boy.
With your new passive perception of 20.
Yes, sir. Bards, man.
You catch out of the corner of your eye, just as this conversation is going on. You see Cerena kind of like almost doing kind of like a self-check, and she kind of looks, like pulls her leathers out a little bit and reaches in, kind of pulls her fingers away and like seems to flick something off, and she just kind of leans back and seems to be trying to like pass it off as nothing.
Now, the medicine check, Torque did notice that as well with her, right? I remember you describing that she was showing some symptoms.
She seemed to be a little bit paling, yeah. Not quite as far gone as Rumrat, but definitely.
Well, our acrobatic friend.
Starting to happen, yeah.
You're a very good assistance there. Are you all right? Do you require some assistance? I can assure you that my magical words can more than soothe the average wound.
Just feeling a bit shaky. I'll be all right. Don't worry.
Would you like some sleep?
No, I prefer to be alert and aware at the moment. Thank you.
Well,
I'll be fine.
Chew on this, then.
There you go.
Dick looks at it and he's like,
bites this onions.
Native painkiller. Excellent. Seems to recognize
it's
it.
Not much, but it's all I can offer at this moment. I'll go have a word with the captain. I'll go have a word with the captain, determine what our next move is.
I would also like to have a word with the captain. Are we leaving them down here? Are we fine with that?
We've got Salty and Thomas and Kisik down here, who are all mostly unharmed comparatively,
hey,
right?
Kisik, make sure no one does anything illegal.
Sorry, is Kadana's down there too?
Oh, Kadana as well, yes.
She is, yeah. She's just kind of sitting off to the side. She got hit quite a bit as well. She's not. She just kind of seems she's like tending her own wounds, like some bandages and stuff, but she doesn't.
Serena and Rumrat seem to be infected. Okay.
Kissick, you make sure no one does anything illegal. Kadana, you make sure Kissick doesn't do anything illegal.
Of course.
Very good.
Wait, does Kissick crew now? Is this little one? He come with us?
I mean, you know, we need a deckhand.
Sure, okay.
At any rate, I'm sure he'll find the accommodations more accommodating than his previous setup.
While all this is going on, above deck, so Thomas Connor is kind of hanging out with you, Dinar, and I'm assuming Flick would be up there as well.
So it's Thomas.
Yeah, probably up in the Flick nest, trying to go get a view of what the heck's going on the island.
Okay.
I imagine that Dinar is giving Thomas some instruction on how to get the boat moving, rigging the sails from the helm as he's trying to direct us through the crags.
As you start to kind of give him instruction, he's like, "Hi lad, don't worry about me. I spent more than my share of time on a ship. I'm not just a harbor master to be on land. I mean, I know a lot about ships and I know a lot about sailing them as well. So don't you worry, I can take care of things right here. But I'm a little bit worried about you, though. You seem to be looking a little bit green. You feeling all right?"
You saying that to me?
Yes.
You got mauled.
Oh yeah, he also
And
failed to
stabbed
save,
repeatedly.
didn't he? Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So, Dinar,
I forgot about
you
that.
are feeling a little bit chilled. You got a little bit of fever sweats as well.
Dang. Look, Thomas, don't worry about me.
Don't die.
We gotta get out of here. I think we need to figure out what's going on with the Spire. They might be able to help us.
By out of here, you mean
Away from Ebonport. We gotta get north. We gotta get eyes on the Spire.
This would be happening while Torque is below decks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was my bad.
I was jumping back to the while you guys were down there. This is going on up above.
My mistake.
Kind of thing. So, Thomas kind of looks you over and he's like, "All right, hey, we'll get out of port, all right." But I forgot my accent for a second there. That's the problem. He keeps switching back and forth between accents. It's like, is he the noble British? Is he the dwarf? No? Right. We'll get to sea, all right. But you should lie down, or I don't know if one of your friends has any healing abilities, or if you've got any at all. But yeah, you got a little spot on one of your scales there too. It's like
I'm gonna see
you see him actually kind of like step back a little bit, and he seems like keeps his distance. Like, no offense, Captain, but you're looking contagious, infected, something. I'm gonna go man the helm, get us out of here.
Dinar's gonna look down at himself. What does Dinar see that Thomas is seeing?
You notice that with your physiology, boils don't necessarily appear the same way, but you do notice that some of your scales are darkening, and there's kind of a greenish pall to some of them, and you can see kind of almost like a physical infection where there's like a little bit of rot almost, and there's they have a little bit of an itch to them as well.
So yeah, seeing that sort of exchange, I'm gonna scamper down from the Flick nest. Hey, D, everything all right?
Well, it appears I've contracted something. Dinar's gonna pull out Dinar's gonna pull out his health potion, pop the cork, and down it.
Oh dear, it
give you a
appears I've
once-over.
contracted a disease.
I'm gonna give you a once over. Got to throw my own medicine check at this, and hey, it's an 18.
Seriously, 2 1s. Denar's going to get back 4 hit points
Woo.
from the healing
So like
potion.
half. He definitely doesn't look good, Flick. We're not able to ascertain exactly what he's caught or what is ailing him. He definitely does seem to have some sort of infection or disease or something that even as you're looking at him, you can see it spreading as a couple more of his scales kind of like start to just turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna point to the festering stab wound in his side. Like, so here's your problem. You need to. I think we need to cauterize or chew away or. Got any acid?
Let's not go to the chewing just yet. There's something that I want to try. I can't do it yet. No. Tomorrow I can do it.
Hey.
I was going to sit down on the stairs. Like I'm going to make it to tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, you're tough.
Well,
From what you gather, like it doesn't look like it's immediately fatal. It just, I mean, it's not getting better, but he's not like he's gonna like drop dead.
Tonight soon. Might suck, but you're gonna make it to tomorrow.
Okay.
Anyway, you any idea what happened back there?
Best guess. Remember that pirate ship that tried to take us over on our way south? That sank the Intrepid Devil?
Oh, yeah.
You remember all the black goo?
You're turning into a goo pirate?
That would be my concern at this point. We only saw what they looked like after the transformation. So yeah. It's a guess, but...
And that goo got onto the devil, and that's what sank her, so, we need to, like, put down some newspaper or something, keep you guys off the deck.
That's maybe not a bad idea.
I'd say at this point, Torque and Talon probably come back up. And Torque, you definitely would see, well, Talon as well, you would see Dinar's ailment matching that of the two below.
What's it look like below deck?
Hey, you know, I'm no dragonologist, but that doesn't look good.
Torque?
Unfortunately, Captain, it seems that the ailment that you have contracted here is not a unique case. Cerena and Relmrat have both succumbed to the same infection as well.
Okay. Well, it brings up a good point.
And I can tell you that I can't heal it.
Okay, you seem way too cheerful for bad news. All right. I think Flick might be onto something. Do we have a lifeboat on the side of this ship?
We have more than one, don't we?
A couple of rowboats.
Is it big enough to fit 3 of us? One of them?
Yeah.
Because last time we had...
One of us is small.
No, we're putting the sick in the launch so they don't get black goo all over the ship and sink this one too, like the devil.
Yeah. So, Torque, I'm going to leave you in command. And whoever it is that's sick below deck...
Torque?
I understand, Captain.
We understand.
I will...
He understands Draconic, so that's really it.
I will be sure to find a way to cure this as quickly as possible, Captain. But in the meantime, I'll make sure that we continue to run a tight ship here.
I'll say...
In return, I only ask that you look after our other crew who have been infected.
If I may interject.
Sure.
I have a feeling that one of the people we believe to be diseased is going to be hard pressed to sit in a boat the entire time, seeming as she's attempting to hide the fact that she is indeed afflicted in any way. One of those strong, independent types.
Then tell her that she's looking out for me. She could cut the rope and rejoin the ship if, like, whatever. Tell her that,
All right.
tell her that she's the one that's looking out for me. I'm the captain,
Dinar.
so...
Right in the middle of this conversation, you hear a voice chime in your head.
Oh boy.
Dinar, the spire has fallen to internal chaotic forces. Get out now, please. Will message when I can. I and allies are fleeing. Do not come back. It's not safe.
Impeccable timing.
Kamari.
Did anybody else just hear that?
Oh boy, he's hearing voices. Get the boat.
No,
Get
wait,
the boat.
Damon, shut up. Dinar is going to think back. He's not going to say out loud. He's just going to think this back to Kamari, hoping that she can hear response. Ebonport fell to the Sea of Souls. A few of us have been infected. Do you have any means to cure this?
Orc, you want to get that boat ready?
Craig, I could see your mouth moving, but I didn't hear anything.
Oh, nothing came there?
No. Now it is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh. You don't hear any response back. You understand, as the wizard, you understand how like message and sending spells work, though. So you understand this is she sends to you, you can respond back kind of thing, and that was
Right.
it.
So she might not have the spell power to send another message to me.
Well, I don't know. Let's wait
Okay.
10 minutes to find out.
All right.
All right. Mr. Connor, you're a local. Is there a no, wait, that was on Isle of Sands. I was gonna say our kooky druid friend, but he's way far away. We need a local witch doctor or healer or something to look at our sick. Got any bright ideas?
I mean, normally I'd say that, somebody up at the spire would perhaps be able to do something for us, but, well, it doesn't seem to be an option at the moment, seeing as that's where we're fleeing from. There ain't too many ports around here, other than Val Tear, or Tear, the locals call it, up to the north. It's about 2 days, 3 days probably away.
I mean,
The
that's
question is, do the infected on board have 3 days?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Torque. I don't think they have much of a choice. I think any place we're going to go is going to be further or equal distance.
I'll say this. Assuming we survive the night, tomorrow I can try something. I've been working on it, and I feel like now I can do it. But I can remove curses now.
Well, you know, I've heard
can't
that
do it today.
I've heard that you never know what you're capable of until there's a gun to your head. Would you like to try that? I hear it's
No.
a very good motivation.
No, I don't have it prepared today.
Oh, okay.
We woke up and tomorrow,
Thomas.
assuming we survive the night, I can try. Maybe that'll give us time.
Well, I think it's the only plan we've got at this point, and Tyr seems like as good a place to go as any.
Thomas, do you think that the Wizards of the Spire might still be barricaded within the tower? Do you think that they're likely to have disappeared along with the guards?
Dinar will raise his hand at that.
No idea.
Sorry, Thomas, to cut you off.
No, it's all right.
Kamari sent me a message. That's why I was asking if you guys heard that. Spire.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
The spire has fallen. We can't go there.
Well, that at least answers one question.
Did she tickle a god? Man, what is it with wizard towers and shutting off the magic. Jeez.
She just said that it's fallen to chaotic forces, so
Could mean anything.
that
Sound
could
good,
mean
does it?
many different things.
Yeah, that's a little ambiguous.
Look, get us in the boat, get us away from the ship. We'll just tow behind and sail north. Torque, you're in charge.
Yeah, I mean, we was
Listen
headed to
to
Tier anyway next, so let's get the lead out.
Look,
Right.
I don't want to rain on the parade. And Cerena kind of steps out from behind the cabin door, from the stairs down. She's like, I have to agree with Master Taylor's assessment here that I'm not too keen on just sitting in a boat. Besides, I'm feeling fine, as it were. And seeing as her now, she actually looks like her any visible signs of her illness are gone, and she looks perfectly healthy.
Could I roll an insight?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is there something about
Okay.
elves that I don't know about?
I'm going to be using my inspiration from last session for roll this at advantage.
Oh,
12.
Well, she seems to be honest about feeling okay, and she looks to be feeling okay. Look, no, Dinar, you're looking a little bit green in the gills, as it were, yourself. Much like your crew member down below there, but...
Be that as it may, we still have yet to fully understand the effects of this infection. Seeing as you were just displaying some symptoms a moment ago, I think it would still be within our best interest to keep you in quarantine as well.
This is getting real.
Perhaps I was feeling a little bit seasick, perhaps, but not anywhere like these two. I assure you, I'm perfectly fine.
Well, that is neither here nor there, I'm afraid, as you are currently on our ship, and a guest, as it were. The rules of the ship are decreed by the captain, and the captain has made a decision. I don't like it.
Am I guest or am I prisoner?
Yes.
No, they're not the same thing.
well, I guess
You've had a very nice life then.
Your status aboard this ship will depend entirely on your cooperation.
See.
Until we can understand this infection, I am enforcing the captain's decision to place you in quarantine.
Very well. If you find yourselves in trouble, then don't expect me to lift a finger to help, since I'm being treated as an enemy, as it were. Even though I helped you in your fight and you're fleeing from the port, I see how it is.
I am treating you as a patient of an unknown disease. For the safety of this crew, I require your cooperation.
Look, before this gets beyond diplomacy, Cerena, perhaps you could just explain to us how you are no longer seemingly infected.
Only assuming I was infected with something in the first place. I told you I seemingly was feeling a little bit ill.
Well, at least allow me to heal your injuries. Perhaps that would make you feel a little bit more comfortable.
I've already taken care of that. A couple potions.
Or a couple, eh?
Yes.
You got any more of those? Did you bring enough for the rest of the class?
I may have brought a few things from the shop.
Well, see, now we've got
That
some
might
negotiation.
come in handy, but especially as I don't see myself returning there anytime soon, if at all. I thought it prudent to bring some resources with me.
Very intelligent of you.
And yes, I would be willing to share and be accommodating, but I would expect the same in return.
Well, do you have anything that might function as a sort of
boat. Got your own
panacea?
boat in there, sister? Because I think right now that's what you're looking for, isn't it?
You've got two rowboats. I don't
Look,
need
the
to
way
go to
I see it, fellows, is that if she has a potion which removed the way she was feeling, she might have more.
The potions took care of my injuries. That root that you handed me actually talked. That helped ease my stomach a little bit, as it were, and it's feeling quite fine after that.
How's the fever?
I never had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, insight check that.
I was gonna say, can I seep
Perception?
into my my history of living on the streets and dealing with grifters and charlatans and various folk who are pretending to be sick and also pretending not to be sick? Or would that be insight?
It'll be man, this is where that streetwise skill from back in the
Right?
day
The
comes in
streetwise
handy,
skill.
right? Like, geez. But yeah, I guess insight would be applicable
Okay.
still to this, but I'll give you advantage on it because of your background. I feel like you want to do an insight as well.
Sure.
What was it?
I don't suppose.
22.
22.
Matt, I can technically do better, but I won't.
Do it.
But I didn't.
I rolled a 19 plus my 1 for a total of 20.
Okay. Palin, she's really good, but she's hiding something. But
I
she
just
is
assume.
really good.
Okay. Good enough that I can tell she's hiding, but
there's a little bit of a deception, but I would say, from what you gather, it's not like a hostile deception. She's not trying to hide something, along those terms, like to harm you or to, keep anything like valuable secrets from you, whatever. It's just more of a guarded.
She's trying to not show weakness.
She reminds me a lot of
she's very good at painting a picture of things the way she wants them to be or the way she wants others to see it.
She's the person in
the other urchins.
She's the person in the zombie movie that tries to hide the zombie bite.
She is not being deceptive about not having a fever or not having any symptoms now, though. She is on the level for that. She's like, no, I'm fine, and she seems to be. You don't catch any twitches or anything with that. She's being honest about that.
She's just a cagey individual. I can respect that. Well, how about this? First of all, I apologize for Torque's abrasiveness. He's been through a lot. He doesn't quite understand how people, enjoy their liberty. Anyway, perhaps we could, since the captain, of course, is down there would be a room available for you to bunk in privately. If you can remain in there, perhaps that would be an amicable way to settle this problem where she remains comfortable, yet away from having to do any actual work on the ship, and the rest of you can stay out there, away from the rest of the ship, not having to do work. Would be a compromise.
Yeah, all right.
Captain, your thoughts?
Ooh, he's thinking. Look at him. That's his thinking face. You can see the gears turning behind his eyes.
Sure. That sounds fine. Cerena, I'm maybe it's the illness. I'm just trying to remember something. When did we first meet you? It's been a few weeks. I'm just trying to place how long we've known you.
Going back about just over a month or so now, I believe. It was Talk wandered into my shop looking for a trident, which I saw.
Oh, yes.
Readily enough.
That's right. Now I remember. I think this fever's hitting me a little hard here, boys. I should probably relieve myself of duty.
Let me be perfectly honest with you, gentlemen. Given my history and things that I've lived through, I will be blunt. I find it very difficult to trust others.
Respect that.
Are you trustworthy? I've been trying to get a bead on all of you, and I keep getting mixed signals on whether you are noble, trustworthy individuals or if you're scoundrels. I'm not sure which.
Listen, sister, I'm an open
Why can't we
book.
be both? I have the perfect answer for you. In song.
I'd rather you didn't.
Somebody put me on
Why
the
does
lifeboat.
everybody keep saying that?
Put me on a lifeboat.
Oh, actually, this time I think I would like to hear the song.
Simple question,
Well,
yes or no. Are you trustworthy?
Well, as Flick
There's
was
not a
trying to
soul
say,
more trustworthy than me in these waters, I can assure you of that.
as Flick was trying to say, we're basically open books here.
As long as you are a passenger on this ship, I will do everything within my power to ensure your safety.
Give me a persuasion check, Torque. I'll say you can do with advantage because of your comrades.
Would you
Okay.
like some bardic inspiration on that?
I would like some bardic inspiration.
I'm going
on
to
that.
begin playing some chords, and we're going to do this in song.
Okay, so that's with advantage plus the D6.
Plus a D6.
Oh,
Hey.
double 19s. Hot diggity. So that's a 21.
Would you like the 21 or the 21?
And
Yeah,
people
you-
say they don't want to hear my music.
Did you
I was
add
about
your
to say.
D6 to
I was
that,
about
or
to
no?
say that you. It should have rolled, but hang on a second. I guess it didn't.
It will. Yeah. What's your total here?
23 total.
23. Okay. All right. She kind of pauses and looks the lot of you over for a second. Well, I'm not in the habit of giving away things for free. So perhaps we can consider this a favor to be repaid at a later date. Captain Dinar, you have contracted blue rot.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Blue rot,
Blue
as
rot.
has your companion below.
Okay.
I do happen to have a couple of means of ridding you of that disease.
See, I told you guys.
I would very much appreciate if you would employ those means.
But I would very much appreciate your assurances that we will indeed be forthright with one another, at least in regards to our current circumstances. You don't need to tell me a whole life story. I'm not interested in that.
Oh, I
but
will anyway.
As far as any information that might be valuable to our mutual survival, let us put it all on the table. I have information that I'm sure you might find useful, and I have some questions for the lot of you as well. Is this a fair agreement?
Good conversation is always hard to come by these days.
Perhaps the captain would be more willing to engage in conversation if the pressing threat of this blue rot was no longer on his mind.
No talk. Despite what your comrade here says about you not quite understanding people as much, I think you know people better than many that I've met. And she reaches down into a pouch and she pulls out 2 vials of like a very dark, kind of blackish purple viscous liquid. And she just tosses them both to you, Dinar.
Some might say I know them too well.
One for you, one for your crew member. I would suggest consuming it immediately, unless you want any potentially permanent damage. from this unfortunate disease.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Torque will sort of proffer his hand for Dinar to hand him the other one to take to Rumrat.
Yeah, Dinar will pass it over.
As you do, Torque kind of leans in and says in Draconic, just keep an eye on this one. I'm still not entirely convinced she isn't working some sort of angle, but for now, I think trusting her is the better option. And he will head below deck.
Dinar will just
Kind
kind
of gives you a wink.
Or just narrows his eyes as he walks down.
Dinar will pop the cork and drink the liquid.
It is a potion of cure disease.
Hey.
So my remove
And-
curse probably wouldn't have done anything.
It would not have. Blue rot is a disease, not a curse.
Yeah.
And almost
would-
instantaneously, you do start to feel the effects kick in, and gradually your color returns to normal.
hey.
Your fever resides. You start to feel okay.
Given a good night's rest, I could have fixed all of that as well.
So do you have cure disease?
I have lesser restoration, just not prepared.
Ah,
Well, it seems like for
Yeah,
once,
please.
Talon, both of us would have been more effective in the morning instead of immediately
I'm always
upon your
effective
request.
the next day. I'm always effective tomorrow. Tomorrow, I am the epitome of effectiveness. But today, always today, I am what you get. But in the past, I'm a legend.
I'm going to keep that in mind the next time you sigh when I don't have something prepared that you want. Like that.
Well, we're just talking about me. I don't see why you always got to bring yourself into it. Wizards.
Once Dinar is feeling better, he'll make his way back up to the helm and relieve Thomas.
Well, now that the drama's over, I'm getting back to work. Congratulations on not swimming home, Cerena, and I head back up to the Flick's Nest.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, I'll saunter off as well.
And yeah, Torque's just below deck administering the other potion for Rumrat.
it definitely. She still kind of seems to be sleeping off the worst of it, and she definitely seems to have taken it the worst. She was in pretty rough condition, so
Do all
Also
those
magically asleep. So
she'll probably sleep for a while. But you do see the boils start to recede and her color start to return to her, and her temperature does kind of go back to normal. And both Kadana and Salty Gren just kind of give you a nod of appreciation. And Kadana says, "Don't worry, we'll watch over her and make sure that that she's okay and get lots of rest." But that was something unexpected.
I think it's even
This
more
what-
unexpected that we were able to get out of there with minimal casualties.
Is this sort of normal for you? Is this what we signed on for all this sort of crazy things coming and ship?
I'll talk to the captain about the possibility of hazard pay.
I'll take that as a yes. I'll make sure my
Nice.
sword is sharp then. Okay.
At the very least, as long as we're on deck on this ship, we are safer than we would be if we were still in Ebonport, at least for now.
I mean, this is true, of course, yes. Unless something tries to eat us, eat a boat. But
Torque will not say anything in response to that. Just full, just dead-eyed stare. As you were then. Back up the steps.
Assuming Cerena is still on deck, Dinar at the helm and the boat moving, Dinar will, I guess, address her. All right, Cerena. You wanted to have a little mutual conversation here. You say you've got information, you have questions of your own. We've got some time to kill before we make it to Tear, so what would you like to know?
first, Just confirming then that is our current destination.
That's correct. That was our plan before everything went crazy in Ebonport.
Fair enough. Without divulging all of my allegiances and what I purport to be up to, I've been keeping an eye on the spire for some time. I'm sure it won't come as a surprise to you that being a shopkeeper is not actually my mode employee. It's not really what I do. It's a front, put it that way. I mean,
Play a little dun 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 on the squeeze box.
served its purpose for a while.
But it is your shop, yes? Okay, that's fair.
Cool. It wasn't really anybody's. It was just sort of there.
Okay.
I managed to convince the locals that I was the one running it. It worked out fair enough. I contributed to spending the money in town and making sure that taxes were paid and all that stuff. Everything above board, but it did provide a nice place for me to sort of set up shop, pun intended, and keep an eye on things, as was my real job. Obviously, the spire is fractured, splintered, split in two. There are two spires, really. There's those that are more aligned with your friend Kamari, and let's call them more benevolent. Perhaps not the best word, but more along those lines. And then there are those who are a little bit more nefarious in their goals and whom they align themselves with. It would seem that the latter has taken control.
Sure, maybe. You weren't by chance following us out to the ruins that Kamari led us to?
I'm just gonna, Mike, you're maybe your thing is cutting off your
cutting off?
voice now. Yeah, because it's quite.
I'm just gonna turn that setting off then.
Yeah, just put it back.
Go auto. There we go.
You're cutting out a few times there, so.
All right, I'll ask it again. You weren't by chance following us out to those ruins that Kamari took us to, did you? Were you?
No.
Okay. I have to ask. It's an interesting choice of words to describe the spire as fractured.
Isn't it, though?
Are you just suggesting that it's broken, or are you suggesting something else by that word?
He seems to kind of look at you askew and just says, well, apparently you think that I mean something other than simply, something broken, fractured into two.
Yeah,
Curious. I'll have to ask you more about that, but not at the moment.
Okay.
We
No,
no,
it's
shout
something
down from above. I hope you're not giving away the farm there, D.
Internally, Dinar's very happy that Torque is not on deck.
I simply mean that they're not all aligned with one another. Perhaps they all share the common goal of knowledge and magic, development of the arcane, but apart from that, there are two different primary interests involved, and one is a little bit darker than the other. It would appear that they have taken over.
Certainly one possibility, yes.
I work for an organization that keeps tabs on things such as this and goings on in, well, pretty much everywhere. Eyes and ears all across the kingdoms. Make it our business to ensure that the Isles in general are safe from the unknown.
The unknown.
Yes.
Can you give me a for instance?
For instance, there's a giant unknown entity that currently resides at the bottom of the Sea of Souls, which is turning things into dead, creepy black goo tentacle monsters, and seems to be turning the sea itself into some sort of blackish goo that is able to infect people.
Okay.
How's that for instance?
Yeah, that's that tracks for sure. This organization that you work for, where are they based? Are they based in the Isles or are they based on the mainland? Or am I allowed to know that information?
Do you really think that I would give you that information?
I'm not looking for their address. You
I mean,
mentioned
you
that
sort of are. It's sort of, where are you located?
what you mentioned that their interests seem to be surrounding the Isles. I'm curious if their reach spreads to the mainland as well or not, or if they're just the Isles.
We've got some allegiances in the mainlands. They've got their own organizations that do similar work there, which we ally with from time to time as needed. But no, we are more centralized to the islands, if that's what you're asking, and that is all that I will give you.
That's fair. How long have you been stationed at Ebonport?
No, probably better part of 8 or 10 months or so.
Okay, so a few months before we arrived. All right. Is that when all of this nonsense with the thing at the bottom of the sea really started?
Well, we're not quite sure. There's been some occurrences that were odd over the past year and a bit. Sort of ramping up in frequency, though, over the past few months. And it was when the Spire began to be interested in acquiring more and more resources that it drew the attention of our eyes and ears. A sudden acquisition of components and wealth and resources always is a bit odd.
That is actually what brought us into this mess.
Oh, I know.
Of course you do, yes.
Look, I can't tell you everything that I know. I would be betraying my own with that. But I'm fairly certain, not 100% convinced, but fairly certain that you are not on the side of this Truscades creature. Although you do seem to be tangled up in whatever web it is weaving, which is curious of its own nature. But since you do not seem to be aligned with it, I feel that I can trust you to a certain extent. It would seem that for the time being, our goals are perhaps aligned. It's always good to have allies, especially in a fight against something from elsewhere, something that is unknown, something whose goals are unknown. We need all the help and resources we can get. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Denar's frantically checking through his mind. The name Truscades.
Truscades is the big monster.
That's the thing at the bottom of the sea.
Yes.
Okay, so she knows its name as well. I couldn't remember if that was also the name of the thing we saw in the other realm. But no, that's Truscades is the thing at the bottom. Okay. Back on track.
Good old Trisket is the enemy.
All right.
Well,
Yep.
I think it would behoove us for you and your companions, along with Master Connor here and myself, to have a little meet cute. Perhaps in the galley. I have a few charts and maps that might come in handy, and perhaps we can share information and plot out exactly what to do next. Now, let me assure you that I have no interest in commandeering your vessel or overstepping your role as captain and your authority. I will provide what I can. I am not a member of your crew, but I will help as I can.
With that, Dinar is going to quickly switch to Draconic and just say, well, not yet, you're not.
He doesn't respond, but you do see a little bit of a...
Dinar's just going to tap his temple and go back to helming the ship.
Whenever you're ready, I'm feeling a bit famished, actually, so I think I might make my way to the galley and see if I can stir up some rations, and I'll be there whenever time allows for you to join me.
Sounds good.
Hey, Dee, did she agree to be our cook? We need
Nope.
someone working the galley.
Trust me, my green friend, you do not want me cooking for you.
What's wrong with my cooking?
Dinar's going to show back up.
Trust me,
No,
lady, you don't know what I like to eat.
we got to suffer through Talon's crap a little longer.
Hey. I mean, hey, we could be digging into the hardtack. How about I just drown everything in alcohol, and you won't have, no one will complain.
Beer battered fish.
Yeah. Beer battered fish, beer battered ribs, beer battered lobster, beer battered dolphin meat.
Fish
Beer
battered
battered
everything.
You're better
Beer battered beer. Yeah.
Beer battered beer that's been deep fried in beer.
Mm. All right.
And then basted with beer and then injected with beer.
Brought up a map for you here so you can see your current location outside of Ebonport and your destination of Val Tear, aka Tear. About 500 miles or so to the north. So for the remainder of this first day as you sail out from Ebonport, what would you like to accomplish?
Do we see the Ivory Spire from here? Like the spire itself?
As the sun rises and as you do kind of come around the peninsula, the point that the port is on, you do indeed see the spire.
Does it look like an Ivory Spire still, or can we notice anything?
Give me a perception check.
No longer ivory, it's obsidian.
The
The
Ebony Spire.
The Ebony Spire, yeah.
21
of Ivorport.
they swap. Morn is now Joy. From this distance, at least physically, nothing seems to have changed. You can still see the kind of the main spire and then a couple of smaller spires that are kind of sticking out off the sides as well. And it's nothing's really changed.
What about Ebonport?
From Ebonport, you see smoke rising. Lots of smoke.
Hell, everything seems to be hunky-dory up in the tower. I guess, I don't know. We probably want to steer clear because I feel like that makes it more fearsome than if there was actually problems that we could see.
Well, it's a hostile takeover from the sounds of it, so I don't think we want to go anywhere near it right now.
Wizards, am I right?
Bad wizards. You're right.
I think that during the journey, Torque will check in on Kissick because I think he's the only other person on board that we haven't really checked in with yet.
He's a tough little guy. He's fine.
Making your way down into the hold proper, you find Kisik curled up in as small a corner as you possibly can between two crates, sleeping.
That's
and tucked in his
adorable.
arm, you see a length of bread that's got some like nibble marks on top of it, just like being cradled like protectively.
Wakes up.
And every now and then he's just like,
Well, I did have some questions, but at the same time, it feels wrong to disturb him when he's like this. Torque will just go back up and just see to the usual duties. He's had a long day. He deserves a rest.
Captain Dinar, would you roll a D100 for me, please?
I sure can.
Still find it weird that like just all the people in Ebonport up and vanished except for like a very small number.
I rolled a 29.
After about 2 or 3 hours, the rain lets up as the storm passes over. And it's not a sunny day. There's kind of a gray overcast, but the weather clears up enough, and there's actually enough of a breeze to kind of give you a bit of a tailwind to help the passage a little bit, and it's fairly smooth sailing. In the light, you can see now that the water below you seems to be getting murkier and murkier, and the Sea of Souls is just becoming more and more infested as the days go by.
Yeah, we don't want to be on these waters for much longer, guys. I think we just go north and leave this whole mess behind us.
Yeah, but the problem, Talon, is that if it's spreading, there's only so far north we can go.
I mean, that sounds like well, what do you want me to do about it?
I'm just saying there might not be a safe place to go soon.
Well, that's going to apply for everybody. Presumably, this problem will eventually hit somebody powerful enough to want to deal with it.
Fair. Sure.
I'm pretty sure that most of us want to deal with it.
That too.
You want to punch a god. Your insanity is not necessarily conducive to the rest of people.
It's not necessarily that I want to, more that I think that if the fate of the world is imbalanced, then we have a certain moral obligation to do whatever we can to not go goodly into that good night. However, I do also
really
want
wants to punch a god.
I really do, Captain. This I cannot deny.
Look, I'm sure, given all the stuff we've already done, you'll get a chance.
Don't say that. I don't think you truly understand. If we're in a situation where he gets to punch a god, that means we're like real close to it.
We're nearby.
Like we're there.
Talon, think about this. Think of the stories and the songs that you can write.
If I survive.
When you survive. When we make it back.
Here, we'll invest in a spyglass, and I'll keep an eye on Torque from a mile away and watch as he punches the god, and then I can tell a very good story about it.
Talon, I'm just going to say this. You would have a chance for a god to hear your songs. How on earth could you pass that up?
Well, no. That's entirely different.
See? There's many reasons to go along with Torque's plan.
All right.
It's not really a plan so much as a goal.
But I refuse to be involved with punching a god unless I am sloshed.
That can be
'Cause
arranged.
then I won't care.
You might not remember it, though, so that's,
That's okay. Flick will remember and tell
you
me
would be
everything.
relying on us telling you what honestly happened.
Yeah, Flick is good for that.
Yeah, I got your back. Don't you
Flick is
worry,
pretty
man.
reliable, yeah.
You
Yeah,
can even
really.
tell me what everything smells like.
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the odors I have encountered.
Right.
What's your best one?
Well, the best one or the most memorable, because those are two different things, right?
Oh, most memorable for sure.
Most memorable. Actually, it was kind of recently too. When Rumrat came aboard with that festering wound.
That's gone
Smell
ahead
that
and sucked all the energy out of the conversation.
Torque just kind of shuffles away quietly.
the odor that was coming off of that sucking stab wound in her side. Yeah, I will not forget that for a while. I don't think my nose hairs are growing back anytime soon. Let me put it that way.
You know when
Yeah.
something festering smells bad to Flick. That tells you something there, right?
I was going to say, yeah, that's.
I thought he was going to say that the smell made him hungry or something. That's why Torque was leaving.
I think that's where we all thought it was going.
Yeah.
But before the first day is out, Dinar would like to have a conversation with Flick.
Okay.
So maybe as the sun starts to set, before we have our meeting with Cerena,
Sure.
Dinar, maybe get Thomas to take the helm for a sec. Ask Flick to come down and have a chat on the front of the ship.
Oh, absolutely. AD, check this. New trick I figured out.
Let's see it.
And I conjure a spectral mop that starts swabbing the deck for us.
Oh,
wow.
See, now that's useful. Dinar, that is the kind of magic you need to be investing in. That is exceedingly useful and will never not be.
Just mind it's a little slippy if you're walking through there.
Like, there's not a section in your book that's got the spell Cone of Silence, is there?
I'll work on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about working on that one myself for when Talen's trying to dig us into a hole. Just cast that on him, and then we don't got to worry about him.
Look, we all know the price of me digging us into a hole is that I then have to dig us out.
Hey, Talent. Could you go below deck and prepare a nice showing of drinks for our companions as we discuss our goals for the future here?
We
Maybe
get
a
to
nice
use the good
charcuterie board of ales.
Well, who could say no to that? Finally, my skills are being appreciated on this ship. I mean, it's about bloody time. Cider, gin, and vodka. No whiskey is good.
So, Flick. Really amazing to see you're learning, like, quickly. You've learned quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I've turned a corner on this one, man. It's snowballing a little bit.
Wizardry does have that tendency. It's good to see.
Especially if you learn snowball swarm.
I wanted to talk to you about your shield here.
Yeah.
Ever since you picked that thing up, I've been working on a way to break that curse. To give you the ability.
The thing is great. What are you talking about?
I understand that it has proven itself fairly well in battle. But I also understand that sometimes it just seems to move out of the way and let you get hit. I'm not going to force anything on you, but I wanted you to know that I have the ability, I assume, to remove this curse, that you could actually put the shield down and not pick it up again.
I mean, it is making sleeping a little uncomfortable at times, but yeah, I will take that under advisement. I appreciate that, D. That's awful nice.
Well,
don't often have people looking out for me like that. I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome. As much as I may be the captain, I do feel the best captains I've served under were always ones that were willing to serve their crew as well. So, if it's something that you would like, which I would advise, but if it is something that you would like, by tomorrow I will have the ability to do it for you. But I'm not going to force anything, so you just let me know.
I will keep that under advisement. Hey, something else that I've been working on here.
Yeah, let's see it.
No, this is the thing. It's not just one thing. It's like it's a process, man.
Okay.
Like I seen you doing your detect magic and shit
Yeah.
like that, where it's like the slow spell.
Mm-hmm. Takes time.
Yeah, I think I realize that some of these things are real complicated, and if I take my time at them, take 5-10 minutes to like really sort of wrap my head around it,
Yeah.
I can do it in slow motion. So there's a few more of these things that I got that'll hopefully help us out.
Well, I look forward to Tayland yelling at you now as well that you don't have something prepared for him. It'll be nice to take a little bit of that weight off of my shoulders. So
Yeah, well, that's what a good crewman does, right? I
couldn't agree
share
more.
the load. All right, let's go get some drinks.
Yep. Let's go have a chat with Cerena. Unless anybody else has something to do, I think that's all Dinar's going to do for the day before the chat.
I think Torque's ready to join you.
You all enter into the galleas, the ship. I guess the question is, are you going to sail through the night? Do you want to batten on the sails and kind of coast, weigh anchor?
I think
Or
personally, like,
anchor, what do you want to do through the
we
night?
we want to get as far away from everything
Yeah.
as much as we can.
And I'm kind of thinking
I
between-
might need to burn the midnight
Also,
oil a little
if
bit
we
on this
keep
one.
moving, I feel like we have a lower chance of actually getting attacked than if we're sitting still.
and between Thomas, myself, and Tayland, I think we could keep the boat sailing through the night,
Mhm.
at least at the helm.
Sure. Okay. So as you gather for a little meeting, kind of entering into the galley, you see that Cerena has taken the opportunity to kind of clear the main table in there and has actually spread out a map that she has made several notations on. You can see that she's marked a number of different things kind of all over the map of different locations and kind of notes that she's putting on there as well. And she also has a bag, rather large bag that she didn't seem to have before, that she's kind of placed on the table off to the side of the map as well. And you can see a couple of odd shapes and stuff kind of, poking, bulging the fabric there. Well, this is a map of notes that I've made of things that I've discovered, not just recently, but over the last couple of years of my duties in and around the Sea of Souls. This is sort of my area, I suppose you could call it. Agents of our organization are sent to different areas, different purposes. Some of us are in more urban settings, some of us out in the wilds, just keeping an eye on things. And so I've sort of made note of what I've come across. Some of these notes are thanks to your encounters as well, such as that toothy tentacles creature that was encountered down in the shallows, which I have come to learn is called the Charybdis. A mythical creature.
That's a
actually.
dumb name.
Thought to be, I didn't name it, I just found it named thus.
Click.
Call it
It
whatever you
really
want.
should be called what?
Obviously, it's the tooth hole. Duh.
Yeah, well, there we go. I mean,
That is so weird. I was also going to say tooth hole.
Cool. I will amend my notes to
very good.
call it the tooth hole. And it does seem to be aligned with Triskades or attached to him or something.
And you know this how?
It's my job.
Oh, well, of course. That
Cryptic.
explains
Okay.
everything.
I collect information. I barter for information. I learn secrets that are dangerous. Rest assured that though I may not be the most above board individual, that the goals of my organization are indeed to ensure the safety in general of the Isles. And so things such as this, we make it our business to know, and we will acquire this information, not by any means necessary, but we will use many different ways to do so. Now,
Actually, before you go
Ah.
on,
sure.
when she's now dropped my organization a couple of times, am I getting any hints that this is related to the organization that freed me?
Ooh.
You can give me a. I don't know if this would necessarily be an insight check. I'll just say that given sort of what she does, it doesn't seem like it would be the same organization.
So yeah, so it's sounding more like she's more of an oddities investigator, and they were more.
Yeah, she's not
Emancipator's
freeing
plan.
slaves and stuff. She's more like keeping track of like supernatural oddities and dangers and that sort of thing.
She's X-Files. Got it. Okay.
Mhm. Sure, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Anyways, feel free to peruse this map and make a note of it what you will. How much do you all know about Val Tear, since that is our current destination? I know a few things that might come in handy, but I'm curious, have any of you been there before?
Dinar raises hands. I haven't.
I may have previously visited the island. Granted, this was some years ago, and I imagine that things probably have undergone significant changes since then.
Was many years ago. Yes, things have gotten a bit odd there recently. The ruling family of Val Tear, the Vales, they are a curious bunch. Old money, as it were, old nobility from the east, actually. The current ruler of Val Tear is Edward Vale. And from what I understand over the past half a year to a year, he seems to have, well, to put it bluntly, he seems to be going mad. Becoming more eccentric and putting in strange laws in place which don't always make sense. There's some concern about his mental well-being. I mention this just so that we know that as we arrive, be prepared to encounter hostility or strange rules and regulations. I'm actually not sure what the current state of the city is, but nonetheless, we should be on guard.
Is he an old man? Or is he
No.
a young man with no reason for this?
No, he's quite young, as far as rulers go, mid-20s to late 20s, I believe. He inherited from his grandmother, who held the title of ruler before him. She passed away a number of years ago. I'm assuming then that Grandalia Vale would have been the ruler when you had visited Talk. She was in charge there for decades. But
I've never had much knowledge of politics, so
sure. Well, just something to keep an eye on. Anyway, there's recent ruins have been uncovered around there as well. They seem to be doing some excavations of sorts. There's a temple that has risen out of the water that seems to have been drawing much attention from Val Tear. They've put a lot of resources and time and energy into clearing away rubble and ruin and excavating this site. Something perhaps to keep in mind.
Dinar's going to kind of look over at Tayland.
What?
Well, I know that Torque wanted to go to Tier, but you wanted to go to Tier 2.
Yeah.
Mind sharing with the group?
I mean, it's not here. Anywhere that's not here is great.
So the center of the Sea of Souls would be it could be great for you.
You guys were there. You saw there was some ancient, powerful artifact being picked up by someone who have most likely has ill intent. It's probably happening in the north. That's something that might lead you to punching a god.
This is
Did
something
you
to consider. Yes.
Did you say punching a god?
Yes,
It-
Torque's life goal.
I won't trifle you with the details. However,
Curious.
Details of I want to punch a god.
These,
the complicated intricacies.
the behavior of the king, you don't suspect that Triscades may have had some influence over this man's mind, do you?
I'm certainly not ruling it out. Now, the Vale family, for centuries, have been devout worshippers of Asuna. There seems to be some, how should I put it, a rift in that devotion of late as well. And Edward Vale does not seem to be as devout as his predecessors. So it is possible that there is some outside influence that is the cause of his madness and perhaps his change of belief as well. I'm afraid I haven't spent enough time digging into it, as my attention, of course, has been elsewhere, primarily on the Spire, but I've made it my business to just keep a note on things here and there that could be dangerous or curious, simply. So we'll keep it in mind.
You and your organization keep tabs on various things happening in the area and make notes on them and attempt to put a stop to them?
Put a stop to them if they are
If they
deemed
prove
to
to be a
be...
threat.
Indeed.
And how bad does something need to be before it is determined to be a threat?
If it's something that is perhaps beyond the ability of local governments or the like to deal with, then we will step in. Often we are contracted by governments and organizations to aid them in dealing
Well,
with
of course.
things of the like.
You
What
have a
determines whether
widespread
something
amount.
is dangerous or not? It really depends on the nature of the threat. Typically, we deal with things that could harm or kill a lot of people or have consequences on a vast area. So, such as this, which is happening in the Sea of Souls right now. I mean, it's going to affect many cities, the livelihood of many people, the ecosystem, all the creatures that live here and call it home. There's much danger, much damage to be done, and so we need to know more.
So you don't really deal with the more domestic threats.
But a fight between a couple, no.
Not exactly, but
Somebody
fair enough.
stealing from the bakers down the street. What do you mean by domestic?
Problems that are not solved by, incapable of being solved by governments, but do not necessarily threaten the overall population, but can still ruin lives.
We have to decide carefully where our resources are best spent. We are not, though our reach is widespread, we are not large per se. We are a secretive organization. We have, well, fewer now than we had previously. And so we must choose. things that are of greatest danger, though we would love to interfere in many different cases. Sadly, we cannot cure all the world's ills.
How do
Nobody
you receive updates on information? How up to date is everything, and just how far is this reach?
Well, you're a man of magical means. Use your imagination.
I'm very good at that.
Cerena, you mentioned that there's not as many of you.
Yes.
Did something happen recently that did something to your numbers?
Yes.
Would you...
No, I won't tell you more.
Okay.
Sorry, that's classified information.
Oh, that brings me to my point. So are you like going to deputize us and make us like junior members, or are we just getting paid at a kind, or how's the compensation working here?
The compensation is that we are sharing information. You're not joining my organization. We don't accept new members in that way. Something you're born
really
into.
A little badge.
Yeah, like this is kind of a joint operation
But
now.
I do have some resources that I'm going to share with you that might be of use. If not, they're not. But I have no need of them at the moment, and I've been given the okay to equip you as best as I can, since our goals currently are aligned. And with that, she kind of pulls the bag over that she put down on the table and plops it in kind of on the map. And as she opens it, inside you can see nothing. There's just this blackness. And she reaches out and she just starts pulling out a number of different items, which I'm going to post up in here for you. No, that's not. That's not that. It's displaying VTT, and it's like, no, here, this is what I want to do.
That's the image, yeah. If you go to show to players, that might...
Yeah. So she brings out and she explains them one by one. So she brings out a tiny silver fish hook called the Hook of Fisher's Delight. These are all magical items that she begins to pull out one by one. She brings out next a plain-looking eye patch, but she explains that it does have many magical properties to it. Gives you advantage on perception, rely on sight, makes you immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts, tell where you're lying as well. This one has...
Is it like an actual eye patch, or is it like some kind of like...
No, it's an eye patch.
You have to wear it and block an eye.
This one's
interesting.
I've used this one. It's come in handy, but I have no need of it at the moment. She brings out a really ornate looking fan, a wind fan. And as she pulls it out, she says, this one can be quite handy on a ship, as it gives you a little bit of extra wind when needed. Now, since all of you are, well, sailors aboard a vessel and seem to spend much time at sea, I have an enchanted set of armor as well, which allows you to swim freely.
That
would be Flick.
Yeah. That'd be really
Am I to understand that these items are not gifts, but simply loans?
They are yours to use as you need them.
And you would ask in return?
Good use of them and don't die. I'd hate for me to give you these wonderful items only for you to use them to get yourself killed with. That would not be beneficial. Anyways, this is a mariner's studded leather. It will give you a free swim speed. And should you fall unconscious while underwater, it will bring you rapidly to the surface so that you may be retrieved by your allies safely.
Also, so you won't drown.
I have some potions as well. that might come in handy. And she pulls out 5 potions of greater healing potions, essentially, and a potion of psychic resistance.
Oh boy.
I'll just post those as well. So I'm just throwing this all up in chat there, so you all can see what's there, and you can choose amongst yourselves who.
And you wouldn't happen to have a large network of voices that whisper in your ear of comings and goings of certain peoples of interest, would you?
This is not an idle question, Talens. What are you getting at?
If there were some way to, well, if you've got a network as expansive and knowledgeable as you say, then finding somebody with said network would likely be a lot easier. If we're trying to locate certain individuals, you could probably greatly assist with this.
Depending on who the person is, yes. If you're looking for your lost grandmother to see if she's faring well, that's not the sort of thing that we do, but if you're looking for somebody of dangerous intent who poses a threat and is perhaps related to our current business together, then that is something that I could look into.
Let's
You understand
talk later.
that magic is not free. Magic is not.
Oh, I understand. I'd be willing to accept that instead of one of your fine gifts here.
Well, these gifts are there for you to use as you see fit. If you don't want it, then your compatriots here can make use of it.
Oh, okay. I mean, no, I'll take one. But we can discuss things a bit later. I individually, I very much like this eye patch because I have a +10 to perception, and if I have advantage, forget about it.
Like his own when putting on the mariner's armor. He's like, what?
Well, I mean, depending on how you look at that and how you would rule it, that would give me a straight +5 to my passive perception when it comes to sight, meaning I'd have a 25 on sight.
Could be.
Also, I like the fact that no one would be able to determine whether I'm lying. With magic.
I figured you would be all for that.
That's quite nice.
With magic, correct.
With magic, yes.
Yeah, so...
No, and that's fine, because if it's not magic, trust me. Oh, they won't find out.
And you can also block out telepathic communication if you want.
I would enjoy that. I do have a +6 to deception, so I mean I'm not hurting in that regard. So that's me. Failing that, the fan would be nice, but I mean I can already do that anyway.
Yeah.
So the fan would just kind of be an extra spell.
Well,
Mark, any of these catch your fancy?
I suppose I should make use of some of these.
Take the fishing stuff.
Yeah. Torque was eyeing the fish hook. I guess he'll take the potions as well if those are if those haven't been claimed. I mean, it's all going to the party, but
you can use the hook to gouge out your enemy's eyes.
More like
it seems like
magical fish that have various benefits.
This seems like an improper use of such a tool.
Yes, but in a pinch, if we're fighting something that is immune to non-magical weapons.
You've got claws for that, and bite for that.
Which are also non-magical, but...
There you go.
No, non-magical.
Well,
I mean, I think the armor is going to flick. I think that's...
Yeah.
We will take this moment to pause and take a break.
Okay.
While we debate magical items, but good spot to pause anyways. So we'll take a break and we will be back shortly. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Hey, Elderbrain Collective. If you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you
just that, and it's pretty awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant, optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, you can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our link tree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Dinar Neurixius, Dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many. I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an Eldritch Knight fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the finest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. Led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Tayland Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Tayland is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Tayland Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean's storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
Ooh, I hope you enjoyed your break as much as we did. I enjoyed a croissant.
Oh, and we
Croissant.
Croissant.
And we got all the magic items sorted, so we know who's carrying what.
Yep.
Yes, I took all of it.
Yep.
No.
It was not a good decision, but no.
Fake. It's all fake, psych.
I wish I had a
Dice
quick
don't
way to
lie.
show the audience what they all were. I don't have anything set up right now. Sorry, audience.
Yeah, we can tell you we've got the Hook of Fisher's Delight, which once a day allows you to catch different types of magical fish, which bestow different benefits, which is kind of cool. The Knave's Eye Patch, which gives advantage on perception that rely on sight, and gives you immunity magic that allows other creatures to read your mind and things of the like. Wind Fan, which allows you to cast Gust of Wind, handy dandy. Mariner Studded Leather, which gives a swim speed, so that you can, with a swim speed, you can attack underwater without disadvantage and the like. Potion of Psychic Resistance, which, yep, and a potion of 5 Greater Healing Potions, which heal you greatly. So that's what we got. And a map with lots of notations on it, so. As she kind of moves the bag off to the side and just kind of leaves the map out for you, it says, I'm more than willing to sort of leave this here in the galley if you'd like, or if there's somewhere else that you'd like to put it. I will require it back, but for the time being, I think it serves our purposes for it to be out here, that if there's any questions you have, there's some other things going on in the region which might be of interest. Should we find Val Tear not to our liking or less welcoming than we'd hope it would be?
If I could make an inquiry, and I'm going to pull out the X-marked platinum coin as well as my 3 charm necklace.
Mm.
Do these mean anything to you?
I haven't seen these before. Should they? Do they have any? Perhaps if you told me where you came upon them.
Looted them off some bodies.
And where were these bodies?
Well, the X-marked platinum coin, that was from a while ago. Was that in the... That was in the... Where the heck was that?
This is the only problem.
That was the chest, right?
The sunken ship.
Yeah.
So was that from? Yeah.
Can't just control F. Not working on my notebook.
Find. So we found these sunken. I'm not sure why it would be marked with an X. Typically, perhaps if it was found by a particular individual, it would be code for something. Sort of passing a message from one person to another. There's all manner of sorts of communication that you might want to hide from others, and the passage of coin is common enough that handing somebody else money would seem innocuous to anyone looking on, but as for its particular significance, I'm not sure. And so what was the other item that you have? May I?
Yes, might as well. The 3 charmed necklace. I also have a big heavy knife, but I doubt she'll be able to do anything with that.
I'm sorry, I can't say that this is familiar to me at all. It rings a bell.
Well, someone out there, somebody knows what this
I
is.
can ask. I might not get any information back, but if one of my colleagues has time,
I would appreciate it.
More likely to get an answer about a coin marked in a particular way than just a random necklace. I'm sure you understand.
Well, it was a long shot, but I figured, hey, why not?
Indeed, why not?
Actually, Tayland, I'd forgotten about those. Before you go to sleep tonight, let me, I can identify those, if there's anything to identify further.
That sounds useful. You can go ahead and do that. Now, I need to go find a mirror and figure out exactly what angle this eye patch needs to be strapped to.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You know, it's really weird. I can see better with this thing on.
Probably helps to block out the blurry vision, right?
Oh,
know, the
yeah.
drunkenness
You know, yeah.
Won't kill your beer goggles, but it will help with your sight in other ways. Anyways.
Hey, Flick. Your skin is, oof.
Gorgeous, ain't it?
I never noticed quite how oily.
Yeah, it's oily and coarse at the same time. It's wild, ain't it?
I can
Helps you
see
slip
hairs
in and
growing
slip
in
out.
places that I didn't know you had hairs growing out of.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm a specimen, eh?
I'm gonna go back to looking in the mirror. He's a dashing young man. Yes. Yes.
With business concluded.
I lost this eye in a great battle with Sahwagin.
Dreadful.
With
night, gentlemen.
Yeah. Business is concluded.
Actually,
Look, I think that armor is the cleanest thing on you.
talk if you have a moment.
Mhm.
Have a word with you, if you're willing.
Very well. A private one, I assume.
If you don't mind.
Ooh, me next.
I'll be but a moment, Captain.
Take your time, Torque.
The rest of you should go about your business.
Dinar will grab the items from Tayland and then go find a place to cast Identify on both of them while this is all happening.
Good.
As the rest of you kind of take your leave. She doesn't say anything for a second, just kind of seems to kind of watch you.
Or just sits, just rock still.
Yeah. I have a great appreciation for you, Talk. You're, believe it or not, kindred soul in many ways. If I'm not mistaken, you are a worshipper of Asuna yourself, aren't you?
That is correct, yes.
Thought as much. And she reaches into a pocket and she pulls out an amulet that has the symbol of Asuna, the trident on it. Like I said, kindred souls. I too, perhaps not in a strictly devout way, but I do follow Asuna. But it's more that she found me rather than I found her. Spent a lot of time around this area. Let's just say that she's almost like a mother in many ways. Not the caring, doting type, mind you, but nonetheless one who provides guidance and nurturing of a sort.
She found you, you said.
Yes.
If that is the case, then perhaps there is much more in common between us than I had initially assumed. Although my first encounter with Tisfuna was not exactly what you might describe as motherly,
No, rarely are they. But those like us who come to know her for who she is, we see a side of her that perhaps others don't. She is not the cold, uncaring mistress that many think of her as.
She is the embodiment of the sea itself, the ocean. It is capable of great destruction, and yet at the same time, it is a bastion of life, an ecosystem unto itself. Creation and destruction.
Harmony to it. A balance to it. Perhaps that's what has drawn me deeper into appreciating who she is. In my order, we are dedicated to keeping balance. That is what we do. Primarily, we serve Naya, the goddess of balance, but I feel like in these dark, stormy waters, Desfuna is more deserving of my attention.
If I may ask a personal question.
You may.
You are an elf, correct? How old are you exactly? I understand that elves have a tendency to be quite long-lived compared to most.
Rather forthright question.
And Torque is now dead.
Some elves are long-lived. This is true. We sea elves are less so. Long in comparison to humans and others of the ilk, but not like our high elven cousins who live for 1,000+ years. Let's just say that I am old enough to have lived at least one full lifetime and a bit extra.
And in that lifetime, in your travels, did you or your organization ever hear tell of a ship known as the Black Tongue?
And asked.
Mike gets out his pen and paper.
Personally, the name is not familiar, but if it's something that you seek information on, I can. As a personal favor, one Desfunian to another, I can.
I don't think that will be necessary. I happen to know plenty about the ship already, considering it was there that I first encountered Desfuna. Without going into too many unnecessary details, I was the only person on board to survive that particular voyage. I have reason to believe that Desfuna spared my life for some purpose, which I have yet to fully understand. I have reason to believe that destroying Triskades, or perhaps playing some part in that, might be the purpose I've been seeking.
It's possible. Perhaps we will find out what she holds in store for you and for us. We are sailing towards her, well, not her home. The entire seas are her home, but it's not called the Suna's Rim for no reason.
Forgive my
See what happens.
overstepping in this conversation. It's been quite a while since I've been able to discuss things candidly with another person. The others aboard the ship, they are not quite concerned with matters of religion, and as I'm sure you can understand, there are certain things about my past I would rather not divulge. But thank you for this conversation. It was strangely refreshing.
Once again, Master Talk. Kindred souls. More ways than one, it seems.
Thor does nod. Desfuna be with you. And he will leave the galley.
My turn?
Taylor's just standing outside the door the whole time.
Are you like peeking in, like you have a dog
Yes.
with her? She kind of looks at you, is like, "You get one question. I'm tired."
Perfectly reasonable. I'll make sure
Been
I
a
only
long
ask
day,
one
in case you
question.
hasn't noticed.
Oh, it's been a long day for all of us, I can assure you. We were woken up exceedingly early.
Yes, I'm aware.
Which is a good thing, but still. As the door closes. So this network of people that you have, would they happen to be keeping an eye on roustabouts? Certain people who go from port to port, leaving trails of destruction in their wake of a less violent method, but just as destructive to life.
Unless that individual has done something exceedingly unusual or dangerous to grab our attention.
Procure a sword that is related to Triskades from the bottom of the Sea of Souls.
That's interesting. You should have led with that.
Well, you gotta have a sense of style.
Do you believe that there is somebody who retrieved an item
I know it. I
that
was
is
shown it from a
connected to
vision
Triskades?
by a wizard who is, as far as I can tell, quite good at it. He was able to give some very vivid visions to some of my companions. I asked him to divine a certain individual, and when he did, we saw him grasping an artifact at the bottom of the sea, wearing some sort of contraption suit-like thing that allowed him to survive. Other than that, I haven't much to go off of. I know he was last seen heading north.
North? What
Well, that
precisely
was
do you
quite
mean
some
by
time ago.
north? North from where? Depending on where you are, north can mean literally anything.
Last I saw, he was hanging out with whalers.
Ah, Griffinware territory. Well, I can tell you that whalers have not fared so well lately. The Griffinware barbarians are becoming increasingly hostile and territorial.
So perhaps if it's
of
no
the northern
longer
reaches.
way to make money, some of them may seek employment through other means, especially if they have pits where their hearts should be, eh?
Tell you what, if this is indeed tied to Triskades, then it certainly has my interest in that of my organization. I will put a word in, but if it proves to be a waste of my time, I won't be too happy.
Look,
Like I
Everything
said,
I've
we don't-
told you is true. Whether
we
it
don't
becomes
search after
useful.
individuals normally unless they are particularly dangerous.
Well, if he's got something and he's helping Triskades, you can bet your boots. It'll be worth looking into at the very least.
All right. Tailend waves singing.
That's my name.
Is it though? Anyway, I'll look into it for you.
Help yourself to some of the rum.
How I intend to.
It's good stuff. Trust me, I know. And hey, you come and join us every now and again. Trust me, I get more on key the more drunk I get.
Take your word for it. I need some sleep right now.
Besides, your voice sounds like it would be a great harmonics with my own. Hey, I'll let you sleep.
Good night, Talon.
Have a good evening, madam.
You told me that once and never again.
I figured I'd get at least one.
Anybody else? Waiting outside the door.
Hey, what's going on, Flick?
So, has she got a cabin or like?
No, she's just
I
sitting
think
in
this
the
was all
galley.
just. I think this was all
She's
just
in
in
the
the
galley.
galley. Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
just
okay.
been sitting in the galley, like as you guys left, and like Torque kind of hang back, and obviously Talon was like waiting outside, being like, "Is it my turn?"
You will pass
Straining
me.
his tie.
You will pass me in the hall, but I'm actually headed up to the captain's cabin. Going to burn my last second level spell slot. Arcane lock. Only Dinar can open the door to the captain's cabin. Just
Smart.
just a little bit extra security.
Perhaps not a bad idea.
And
Dinar was
Dinar-
just casting Identify on the 2 items that Talon had.
Right.
Just on the odd chance there was something to know.
Neither one is magical.
Is there any... so it says that I learn its properties and how to use them. Is there any use of these items outside of a coin and a necklace?
Well,
Okay.
you learn the properties if it's and how to use it if it's of a magical nature.
I see. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no magic to be had. It's a coin, and it's a necklace, basically.
Talon.
Yes, did you solve all of my problems?
Yeah, this is a coin. This is a necklace.
That magic is wonderful stuff.
Well, it only works if there's magic to be found, so...
So they're not magical, but they still hold significance in some way.
I imagine they
There's
were
somebody.
Somebody, yes. They're quite intricate. And nobody just marks a coin like that for no reason, but there's no magical means here.
Crazy people might.
Well, yeah. There's no shortage of those in
Well,
this world.
thank you for trying at the very least. It's nice to see you pulling some weight around here.
I will go to the...
Call me when you've got
captain's
legend
quarters,
lore.
Talon, I'm giving you a graveyard shift on the helm tonight.
Oh, come on, man. I gotta wait to drink.
That's right.
Ah, well, it'll give me a good time to check out my new eye patch. I can see through time.
Or
Yes.
you take notes sort of after your conversation with Cerena. A particular note that she had marked on her map. The location within Asuna's room of a lighthouse.
I think I'm looking right at it. Yeah. Torque
she's aware.
definitely would have clocked that.
Anything else happening this evening, gentlemen?
I think Torque is pretty good. He'll, take his watch, same as everyone else. But other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm up in the night when I can't see.
should we start putting the other crewmates into the watch rotation? Maybe that's something to discuss tomorrow night.
I also think, like, to be honest with you, if we're attacked, I'd rather one of us be aware than have to wait to be woken up by somebody who could die in one hit.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
We can have them sort of on ship operations overnight as well, so that we can be exclusively on watch. But yeah,
Ship work kind of thing.
Yeah. When Flick's shift for watch comes up, he will spend a good portion of time using what would normally be paper for a spell scroll, and he's going to make an origami crane out of that and sort of tuck that into his spell book.
That'd be called a vellum. Yes.
And sort of presses it in his book when he's done with it, and it's just he's ready now. But yes, otherwise I'll take a whichever watch shift comes up for me.
Aelin's going to use this time to quietly reflect and stare intensely at the horizon. Maybe occasionally whistle a tune and then correct some of the notes. And then look around and see if anybody saw that. And then take a nippy sweetie.
Night passes. Ship continues to sail on slowly towards your destination. The morning dawns. The sun crests over the horizon and brings a little bit more light than the previous day. There's still clouds above, but there are some patches of blue breaking through. You immediately spot, thanks to the light, off towards the southwest, towards the center of the Sea of Souls. Good, probably 300 to 400 miles away. You can see just on the flat horizon right across a ship with dark, tattered sails, surrounded by mist, eerie fog.
Oh boy. Do we all see this?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
You all
Does
kind of
Talon know what that is? Because I know what that is.
You have all seen this ship once before.
Yeah.
More red water.
Right.
No.
This is a ghost ship.
What of that ship that's out there? Do we leave her to the gale? She's called the dread Asuna, and it's rage that fills her sails.
Uh-oh.
Would indeed be the Asuna, the ghost ship.
I figured.
Yep.
When you saw it on your first crossing of the Sea of Souls.
Turn the ship around me, boys. Turn it around and run.
Now, it is quite a distance off. Would not catch you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But
It's heading right for
does
us, isn't it?
Seem to be heading in your direction. What do you want to do?
Captain,
Yeah.
there are about 7 different songs that say we should go nowhere near that thing.
Yeah, I'm familiar with some of those.
Yeah, we need to not be here. We gotta move. We got 2 choices, I would assume, towards land or towards the Sea of Souls. Personally, I think land's the better option when we're running from a ship.
Isn't the ship in the Sea of Souls right now?
Yes.
It's this thing right here,
Approaching you. Yeah, so it's approaching you from the southwest. Or south.
Right, but what I'm saying is we
Southwest
either move to the land
Mm.
to go there, or we continue on into the Sea of Souls, which is where we know it is. Like it's going to be.
Well, you're heading north into Asuna's Rim.
Yeah.
Towards Val Tear, out of the Sea of Souls. Well, I guess it's technically still part of the Sea of Souls, but
Is that out of like the weird, like water parts though?
You don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Is it so is it far enough away that we can kind of like steer around it, or is this kind of a
An inevitable meeting.
yeah?
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say.
can we course correct around it, or is it too late for that?
It's from what you can tell, it's kind of on a like you're heading this way, it's coming up like this way. It's gonna like pace you,
Right,
essentially
so-
trying to pace you to like it's a chase basically.
We can make an educate. We're like, it's clearly coming for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious it's coming.
Like,
in
there's
your
no way
direction,
it just so happened to be coming in the direction directly towards us, right? Like, it is coming for us.
It's coming for
Yep.
us. Yeah.
And we've been able to determine that it's going to be a while before it catches us.
It seemed that way.
I don't trust any of that.
300
Yeah.
miles away.
That's not that much.
Not a lot of nautical terms.
It's still pretty far, though.
That's reasonable. That gives us a lot to work with. We could hit land before they could catch us. That's why I recommend that, because we know it at least can't get us then. Now, we might be able to make it to Val Tear before they catch us as well if we really push.
It's up to you, Captain. Do we stay and fight, or do we try to evade it?
I'm not really interested in anything from the Sea of Souls, any kind of tangle there. But I feel like perhaps if we man the oars, we might be able to get a little bit more speed and get within range of Val Tear and perhaps discourage this thing from following us any further.
So evasive maneuvers then.
Keep moving north for now.
Hmm.
If it's closing
Fan
the gap
out.
too quickly, move to the ground.
I'll get the remainder of the crew below deck to load the cannons so that if a fight is inevitable, at least we'll be prepared for one.
That's a
I'm
good
not
idea.
sure our cannons are going to work
Your-
against a ghost
Yeah.
ship.
Just point of note, your cannons are actually on deck. Because you're
Okay.
a small,
Alright.
you're a catch. You're not a big
Yeah,
ship. So
but-
you have
You'd still need to go below deck to get them to come up and start loading them.
The
This is
crew,
true.
yes.
And
And you
also, yeah,
get your supplies and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah.
probably good to check in on Rumrat's condition as well.
Rumrat has
heading-
definitely turned the corner in the right direction, and she's doing much better this morning. She's awake. She's as one is after going through that kind of ordeal, and just from the grievous wounds that she had, she's feeling a little bit not 100%, but she's definitely. She grunts at you, which she doesn't really say much, but she's like, yeah, fine.
We're heading straight for Val Tear.
For now, yeah.
All right.
If it starts catching us before we'll make it, then we'll go for land. But even then, I don't know. I don't know how viable an option even that is.
Wrap it in amongst the islands somewhere. That'd be
Yeah.
So
for point of note, because in point of note, this world is flat, so there is no curve that you know.
Yes, there's no
ships
3 mile
disappear.
viewing distance. Yeah.
The ships disappear over, so you can see.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
We'd be able
we
to
should
actually see Val Tear,
Yeah.
potentially,
There are islands in the way,
on a clear day. Yeah.
but yeah, you can see land ahead, but there's islands in the way and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Val Tear's closer to us than the ship is.
And
so.
fog and all that.
That's
and
true,
all that
yeah,
stuff,
you're right.
so.
All right, well, let's get moving, everybody.
All right.
We see a battered frigate neath a gray and stormy sky. Give way and watch behind you, or you'll hear your captain cry. Turn that ship around me, boys! Turn around and run!
Dinar.
Yep.
Give me a water vehicles check, please.
Okay. Water vehicles. This is a.
I'm nonstop
7.
singing a song about avoiding the dread Asuna. You can have some bardic inspiration, sir.
I mean, I'll take it. And I'll just roll it right away. So that's a D6. Yeah.
Yes.
For your inspiration, yeah.
Ah. That's a 2.
Come on, man.
2 plus
Good news.
7, which is my water vehicles thing. So that's 9. Plus 6 is what I rolled. So 15.
Oof.
15?
Well, hey,
I mean, that was a lot of pluses. So.
that helps, I suppose. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Would anybody like to do anything to inspire the crew or to give any aid to the ship's speed or anything else?
That depends on. I guess technically, what I did mechanically was a bonus action, right? So I could take like a proper action and.
Yeah, we're not in like straight combat here, so
Yeah.
I think once the cannons are loaded, Torque will go below deck and try to get like kind of a rowing team going. Roman is still recovering, so he would not. Everyone else, he would kind of get to like take an oar and try and increase the boat's speed from the rowing team.
Thomas Connor will join you on that. So you would have Thomas, Salty Grin,
Kadana, Kissick for what he can contribute.
I figure Kissick can be Water Boy and Powder Monkey, so he'll.
Yeah, he'd probably fit the role of Powder Monkey quite well because he's fast and he can roll around. Serena is not going to row.
Right, not even going to try and breach
She
that.
might break a nail, it's
Yeah.
No. She's ready to put her skills to use in other ways.
She's ready for the fight.
When we sighted land, it became a race with time. We believed it,
Right.
Val Tear, the Asuna closing in behind. Risk it all, the captain cried. It's the only chance we've got. Salvation if we make it, and our souls if we get caught. So get moving.
Oh, you don't want to die? Yeah. So that's
Torque
okay.
is
anything else anyone's doing?
I'm gonna keep time for the rowers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be sort of heading up the deck crew, so making
This
sure
is
the
still
gunners
night,
are ready.
right? Like we haven't had the benefits of a long rest yet.
No, this is the next day.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
the
is
next day. I
morning.
thought this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
my bad. I thought it
Long
was
rested.
like
Yeah.
copy that.
No. This is the following morning. So you've rested, and as the sun rose, you're like, oh look, that's a ship with tattered sails. Yeah. All right.
I was gray and cloudy, and the wind was from the west. When you spied a battered frigate with her tattered sail full dressed.
You move that way.
Torque, I don't know if this will do anything, but Torque will, as he's like rowing vigorously, will kind of like enter a rage as he does it to kind of like increase his like rowing strength. I don't know if he'd be able to maintain that unless one of the other crewmates to just like periodically attack him to keep the rage up.
Can I just poke him with my rapier every 6 seconds?
I mean, if you need Flick to be the rowing master and flogging everyone, I've got the whip.
I wouldn't ask that of Flick. Given what he's been through, I'm afraid it might bring up some
yeah,
bad
might
memories.
trigger something there. That's
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
But the other Oh, sorry.
As you put everything into it to try and urge the ship forward, and you're making good time, the Asuna is closing. Seems to be moving with unnatural speed.
And the Asuna, she leapt towards us, riding fury from the graves. Our captain, he stayed at the wheel. The crew, they manned the lines. And still that ship and storm were closely closing in behind.
Or just shout out, Captain, what's the status?
Yeah, they're gaining on us.
Is it a lost cause then? Should we give up the oars and take to the cannons?
Can we make like a navigation check or something on that? If we can judge our speed compared to its speed and the distances, do some math.
Well, I think
that's man. People, the nautical navigational people in Eudora have it so easy. They just take a ruler, and then write it down.
That's why sailing is such a
they don't need all these
industry.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't need all these intricate things to track all this and resize the map sections.
Has the sextant even been invented in this world?
Okay, so Dinar, I'm gonna get another water vehicle check from you for the following day. Whoever's on lookout right now can give me a perception check.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you just use a perception as a
rolled a 10?
I've checked.
Hey, check me.
Oh,
that's a lot of 21s tonight. I rolled a 10 plus my 7, so 17 for water vehicles.
21 on
Mr. Flick up in the Flick nest rolled a 21 on his perception, and he's very happy about that.
Sorry, what were you trying to? You're trying to judge if they were gaining on you?
Yeah, it's a navigational thing to see. Well, it was more so to see like if we judge the distance from here to Val Tear, the speed we're going, the distance from us to the Asuna, and the speed that it's going. How confident are we that we're going to reach the harbor before it catches us?
Before they overtake us, yeah.
It's going to be close.
That to me sounds like there's a chance.
I was gonna say
they seem to have a little bit of an edge on speed, but
we've got gumption. So
get your fan out. Get the fan out.
Yeah, I'll get the fan out. But, given that it'll be close, Dinar is going to insist that we press on and keep going north.
Okay.
There are islands up ahead. Perhaps we could maneuver around them in such a way that gain an advantage, unless they just sail right through them.
Maneuvering will cost us distance.
I know.
I would rather just straight line it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if it can just sail through islands or not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, ghost ship.
That'd be a hell of a flex.
Right. So for the next couple hours, it seems to be pacing you, not gaining as much as it did initially, as you kind of maneuver and catch a tailwind. The minute kind of reading the currents, and with that extra gust of wind, you manage to get a little bit of an extra boost in your mileage per hour, as it were. So it hasn't fallen behind. You haven't pulled ahead of it, but it's kind of keeping pace now.
That's fine. Our ship, we crested a giant wave and crashed to the trough below, and the crew held on to what they could. They were damned if they let go.
I assume that we're just below deck rowing for this whole time.
I would assume we're just booking it. Yeah,
I'm going to get you to do an endurance, basically a con save this turn around, though.
Right.
Just so I can feel like I'm contributing, would you like me to make a Constitution performance check? To see if I can continue to chant.
Just give me a performance check, and I'll get Torg, if you want to give me.
Do you want a straight performance?
Yeah, I'll just make a performance. Okay. I'm gonna roll some con for these other guys here.
Whoa, woof! Oh boy!
Wow, that's not good.
Yeah, that's an 8. I don't know what the +3 is about.
That's the Bardic Inspiration.
Oh.
You apparently still have that turned on.
Apparently.
Weird, I thought I toggled that off.
All right.
I got a 23 on my performance.
Still suffering a bit from the previous day's events. Your rowing team falls a little bit behind. But not as far behind as they would, because Taylor's performance manages to kind of keep the rhythm and keep you spurred on there with that 23, offsetting the failed con save. So
Excellent.
you don't
Perfect.
gain in rowing, and you don't fall too much behind, but just maybe a little bit.
I'll take it.
The rain
And,
and sea and storm winds crashed against our
Flick,
ship with
Flick, give me a perception check again, and Mike, give me another water vehicles.
Okay.
From the deck of that cursed
That's
ship,
better.
we could hear them laugh.
Not as good. 15 on the perception.
Well, the 19 plus 7 for 26.
Whoosh.
Nice. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. And you're gust of winding, right?
Well, I can only do it once.
Oh, right. You did that last time. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I risk
Um,
destroying the fan.
if you need me to come up and do that, let me know.
Nah.
So, Flick, you have a hard time tracking exactly their distance because there is this mist and fog seems to kind of like almost go with them. And at times it kind of obscures and makes it hard to judge exactly how quickly they are moving. But as you guys do move a little bit closer into tier, they gain on you.
Hey. It's going to be tight, Captain. Got any rabbits? Now's the time to pull them out of your hat.
I don't have any rabbits that are that far
This is
out.
like we're talking like this is like through the day, right? Like this is like
Yeah.
hours are going by here, right? Like this is a full day's worth. So, what are you guys doing as far as rests, break, food? Are you just pushing through it?
I think Torque will have the rest of the crew sort of like on a rotation, so that it's like always Torque and one or two other crewmates at a time. He will not be giving himself that luxury, though. He'll just be rowing continuously.
Okay. Cerena will aid by running food to like food and water. She'll kind of help with that, and because she's very fast.
Yeah, just always.
So she just moves and like she like brings a water skin and like for Torque she seems to have taken a kinship to you, Torque, especially. She just like make sure that you're well hydrated and just kind of keep coming to bring you water. And
As she runs over the water, she sees as Torque is like rowing vigorously, there's like little scorch marks around the floor and like down the length of the oars where like sparks of lightning have like flickered off of his body from just like the rage and the exertion.
Don't burn us down before we get there, right?
I'm trying to think of what is Torque's body going to be like after raging for 6 hours.
He's gonna have like a Red Bull crash after.
He's not going to be able
I'm
to
fully
turn it off.
expecting there to be some exhaustion here.
Yeah, there definitely will be. All right, next round. Let's get our water vehicles. Let's get our perception. I think I'll get another performance and con saves.
Okay.
Respectively.
Hopefully this one's a little bit less what we in the business call booty ass.
That's a 19 total for the water vehicles.
Just to be clear,
I rolled a 2 again.
You don't need me up on the deck.
No,
So I can keep doing the chant leading down here. Okay.
Yeah,
that seems to be good there. 21 on
verify.
perception.
So I got 19 on my performance. Ooh, that's
19
rough.
performance. Okay. We got 120 on con save, 119, 14, 12, and you got 8. Okay.
Yeah, I second that 2 in a row.
So
Consistency.
Torque. I think it's gonna be Torque, Thomas, Gren, and Thomas saved it. So Torque, Gren, and Kadena all take 1 point of exhaustion.
All right.
As you're just going through it. Thomas Connor seems to have a rhythm. Just he's old salty dog. Just seems to have the way of it. Flick, getting a better beat on the ship now. You can see that they're not actually. It's like they're sailing, but they're not. And you see now that as it's moving, the water around it isn't even breaking. There's no wake. It's just gliding. It's just moving. And even every now and then, it just kind of like, almost like skips forward a little.
Oh, it does that creepy ring girl thing.
Yeah. And so it's actually, it's not even, it's
Oh,
not
boy.
hindered. It doesn't seem to be hindered by the water. It doesn't seem to be dependent on the wind at all. There's entirely other supernatural force that is lending speed as it just, like the sails are out and they're tattered, but they're not even really moving. They're just kind of moving on their own, like almost like they're animated. And the mist around it seems to be more connected to kind of propelling it forward as the water just doesn't even seem to be affected as it moves along.
Craig.
Mike.
In my naval experience, is there anything, any universal sign that a ship can give to a port that it is in distress?
I mean, put a white flag up, basically.
White flag?
We'll just say for now. I mean, I don't know naval.
No. That's
signs and
you could
terms.
make something up for all I care. Like 3 cannon shots in succession or something. Okay, so white flag.
You need to hang upside down from the crow's nest and hold 3 fingers out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put a we'll say a white flag.
Okay.
You're not surrendering, but it's like a distress, like we're coming in hot kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Okay. Then Dinar, seeing the gap closing, and Val Tear now, I'm sure in pretty clear sight, Dinar will shout up to Flick. Switches over to a white flag, Flick. And then
Aye, Skipper.
Dinar is going to cast Prestidigitation to create, once the white flag is up. You can only do it 10 feet. Flick, can you do Prestidigitation yet?
Sorry, Presto who?
Never mind.
Preston.
So, from where Dinar is, once the white flag is up, Dinar is going to, like, multiple times shower the back of the ship, where the helm is, with a bunch of sparks to try to gain
Only
attention.
you knew someone who had the Skywrite spell.
If only.
I'll cast light on our white flag just to make.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, there we go.
You mean that? How's that
Sure,
work?
something like that's good too.
All right. Noted.
We were almost to the harbor, we could see the natural break, and each man wheeled their forward, for they knew what was at stake.
All right. As you press on into the late evening, you're sailing into the night here. Going full tilt beyond your sort of even normal 8 to 12 hours. You're just going, and which allows you to get to Val Tear in within that 2 days instead of going beyond it. And Torque in particular, well, I guess you're
Yeah, I'm below deck. I'm not seeing any of this.
Okay. So Flick, you would notice this.
Mhm.
That as you seem to enter into, you can see sort of the islands that make up the rim, as it were, and looking kind of the map, thinking about the map that Cerena showed you about this Disfuna's rim. That as you seem to enter this kind of protected bay, almost as it were, that the ship, the Asuna, seems to not disappear, but it seems to fall further back.
Hmm.
And you do seem to gain on it. And as you approach Val Tear, it eventually just kind of like it's kind of still coming, and then it just starts to become more and more transparent and ethereal. And then eventually it just fades.
We charged into that harbor, the Asuna heaved away, and we heard their bitter screams, for those devils lost their prey.
And you do see on the docks ahead of you, Val Tear, as the lanterns are lit in the evening. There are many guards. There's a significant military force that seems to be present.
Yeah.
There are a number of smaller ships that have kind of started to come out almost to meet. And as I see the white flag, you can see a couple of hands go up, and there's some ballista. There's some like small, like 6-pound cannons and a few things that were being manned. They kind of drop off, and then just kind of hold the hands up and fall back
how's it going?
and sort of accompany you from a distance as you kind of sail into port. And there's kind of that watchfulness. You can see on all the ships that they're flying the flag of Val Tear, which is, it's really strange. It's like a mountain, and then the top of the mountain is like almost like a volcano, but instead it's a teardrop. And then right within that teardrop, there's a symbol of a trident.
What's the situation, Captain? What's the situation?
At ease, everybody down below deck. You can relax.
Torque just immediately releases the oars and just collapses like off the bench, falling on the ground, just gasping for air.
I need actual water. Oh.
I need about a gallon.
Oh, really?
Cerena.
I conjure several gallons of water above Torque's head.
Torque just opens his mouth and just tries to catch as much of it as he can. It's just.
If you approach the docks,
oh, it's 10 gallons. Jesus.
Yeah. Torque will try to drink all of it.
So as you approach the docks, you're kind of instructed by a couple of the smaller vessels that come out to meet you to actually anchor just away from the pier for the time being. And that you see a ship coming out to meet you. It's just kind of more like a small ferry. And there's an individual wearing very brilliant looking armor. Like it's very polished, chainmail, underneath a tabard that has that same symbol on it of Tear. And very like kind of salty looking, dirty blonde hair. And as they get a little bit closer, you can see now that she's got like a scar running down like the whole side of her face, and her one eye is kind of like got a little bit of like a milky in the corner that she's had a pretty significant injury. She appears to be about a middle-aged human woman, and she kind of signals to let down for you to let down a ladder. She wishes to come aboard.
We'll let down.
Approaching vessel. Please identify yourself. I see that the name of your ship is the Radiant Dawn. What brings you into our port with such haste at
I'm
this time
bearing
of day?
dark tidings.
Have you heard any news of what's going on at the Ivory Spire?
We try not to involve ourselves with the going-ons of the wizards there.
That's fair. Let's just say the protections on that island are gone. There's some kind of a coup. And so the Sea of Souls is literally lurching up onto the island.
You speak of the Black Tide.
We do.
Yes, we've seen it.
We fled just in time. They were trying to board our ship as we were sailing out.
As I said, we bring dark tidings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is your purpose here in Val Tear?
Currently, we're seeking refuge. We didn't know where else to go. The sea is very large, and this was the closest port.
Tell her about the spooky ship that was chasing us.
Also, we're pretty sure... Talon, what did you call it? The Asuna?
The Dread Asuna.
The Dread Asuna was just chasing us into port as well.
You see her eyes kind of go wide at that and says,
The Sea of Souls right now seems to be on another level.
Yes, we know. We live here. You've seen her then.
Yes.
She's been making herself more visible of late. Well, you entered Asuna's rim just in time then. We are protected by the goddess here. Although her protection does seem to be waning, I'm not sure what to make of that. Well, you shall be allowed to dock. You will be given leave of the open areas of town. However, we do have some questions for you. As you yourself have stated, these are dark times. There's lots of danger at bay here, and we have our own issues here in Val Tear, which might make your welcome less than pleasant. I apologize for that in advance. Things are a bit chaotic.
We're familiar.
Yeah, chaos is it's an old friend of ours at this point.
Maybe don't say that. But then again, Torque's not here. Torque's still below deck, just
desperately trying to drink the water left.
Torque is like missing this whole conversation because he's just dragging himself up the stairs.
His entire shell is full of water now.
You just hear it sloshing around.
I am Captain Willa of the Val Tear Guard. I will make note of your arrival, and the dock hands, the harbor master, will make sure all your papers are in order. There's, of course, a docking fee, even in these times.
I understand. What are we looking at?
I'm not sure what it is at the moment. I think it's a couple golds. Depends on how long you're going to stay here.
That's fair.
Will you need a resupply? And provisions?
I imagine that would be helpful, yes.
Very well. Before you enter town, please note that the area on the plateau, the high end of town, is currently off limits to non-residents.
Okay.
You'll be restricted to Low Town.
Low Town. All right. Denar's going to look around at his crew. Low Town, guys. Low Town.
It's very simple. There's the plateau down up there and the town below it. You don't go up. Understood?
We understand, yes.
Very good.
Denar's going to side-eye Tayland a little bit.
Well,
behave.
Welcome to Val Tear. And she just
Thank you.
nod and heads back off.
Happy to be here. Oh boy, I can't wait to find out what sort of problems we're going to get involved with here. It sounds like it's a real good place to be right now. I'm looking forward to this.
The dock, or as the ship approaches the dock, and you prepare to make berth and arrive in Val Tear. Torque, you feel a sort of a warm sensation pass through you, accompanied by the strong scent of brine. I mean, different from the salt water around, but it's more of an intimate one. Then you hear a welcoming voice in your mind. Welcome home, child.
Torque will say nothing in response. He'll just kind of ruminate on that.
I've been quieter of late. I reach at last.
I assume much has changed since my last visit. I know I have.
Sure to visit my temple and priestess there. It will do you good.
I understand. I only hope that the people here permit me to do so. I would hate to go and make a mess of things again.
There are those who will welcome you. Those who still hear my voice. Have faith, talk.
My heart is yours. My will is yours. As he'll push himself up off the floor. and stand a little bit straighter, even though he is still exhausted, and make his way to reconvene with the others.
As the radiant dawn arrives in Val Tear, prepare to make landfall. That is where we will end this week's session.
Yeah, that seems like a logical
And
end
we will
point.
pick it up not next week because we're going to do our monster march next
Gonna
week.
make a horrible beastie.
So make sure you tune in for that, and then we will catch you again next time. So thank you everyone for watching, who's tuning in live. We very much appreciate it. Follow us. If you're hanging out on Twitch and you haven't hit the follow yet, please do. We want to get our followers up there so we can get that Twitch affiliate, and then we can start giving out perks and all kinds of stuff. And don't forget to check out our link tree. You can find links to our Patreon, to our Twitter, to our YouTube, to our Podbean, to all the stuff there. And we would greatly appreciate that. And join our Discord. Come and hang out. So until we see you next time, happy gaming, everyone. Take care.